I don't know how that happened, but it happened. So anyway, sorry about that. I don't know what you heard or didn't hear, but we're talking cloudy skies right now, very slight breeze, in the 30s, I believe, and, relatively mild. Some snow has melted because we've had some relatively mild days this week, and we'll see what we can see. I have seen or heard since I arrived just a black-capped chickadee or two and some blue jays, and that's it to this point. But we're going to take a walk and we'll see what's out there.
Or at least we'll try to.
At least we'll try. So I'm going to just get a coat and I think a tripod. See what's going on out there. Okay. You're right with you. Oh, oops, almost forgot something. Kind of an interesting day so far, and in terms of birds, I've on my way here, I saw a few red-tailed hawks. I also saw a few eagles here and there. Just heard a black-capped chickadee. Oh, hold on a second. There's a turkey vulture in view. Not quite ready to show you, so. We're almost ready. We're almost ready. Did I just hear a crow? Possibly. Possibly. Yes, I'm hearing a crow from somewhere. The pond still is largely covered with snow and ice, so you know, it still makes a difference in terms of whether or not it draws birds. Someone just flew over there. Oh, someone's here, I think. Oh, it's a red squirrel. Okay. I think I just heard. I think I heard an American goldfinch. And there is an American goldfinch right there. But not seeing anybody else around. Oh, hold on, someone's doing some tapping. Tufted titmouse. Oh, we've got a red-breasted nuthatch right there. And okay, so we're hearing the crow continue to call. There's a nuthatch. Adjust things, hold on. Hearing a black-capped chickadee now. Oh, where'd that squirrel go? Missed it. I think. Yeah, well, I see it. But okay, let's move on. By the way, I drove through the campus to get here, and I did see Arthur, and I did stop to record him for just a few moments. What's that? Cardinal, I think. Yes, northern cardinal there. And we've got a... Oh, turkey vulture. Don't know if it's the same one that I saw earlier. And a blue jay just flew overhead. I just heard a woodpecker of some sort, either a hairy or a downy. I think it's a, oh, that's a hairy, I think. I'm not positive. I'm reasonably certain that bill looked a little bit too long to be a downy. So I believe that was a hairy. And, oh, hold on. And that's a downy. See how small, well, relatively short the bill is. And that might have been either a hairy or a red-bellied. Oh, that was a blue jay, I think, yeah, with a peanut. And we're hearing the deep, those are American goldfinches. Anyway, as you can see, things are, as I said, the pond is still essentially frozen over. So, not a great draw for birds. Hold on a second. Oh, where'd they go? I'm not sure what that was. It might have been an American tree, but a tree sparrow, but I'm not sure. Yes, American tree sparrow. And woodpecker's back in view. I think that looked like a downy. Oh, I don't know. And I may have been... I don't know. I may have been mistaken earlier when identifying the one as a hairy. I don't know. I think downy. I don't know. I don't know. Well, we're gonna get to the trails. this is kind of slippery here. And it makes me wonder, oh, should you have worn boots today? Now here, essentially nothing. Someone just flew through low to the ground. I've got a few birds around here. Oh, they're kind of moving through. I think I just heard a mourning dove. Hello. Didn't hear a call, but I heard the sound its wings make. I see a titmouse over there, a tufted titmouse. It's been nice to have these last few relatively mild days. I'm not sure what the weather will be like in the next few, but oh, I hear a white-breasted nuthatch. So we've seen or heard both red-breasted and white-breasted. I'm not sure what that was. Was that a Carolina wren? That sounded like a Carolina wren. And I'm hearing black-capped chickadee. I think that's a Carolina wren. Hold on, let me check with Merlin. Yes, Carolina wren. Merlin agrees with me. And who was that was just flying around? The Carolina wren is not particularly close, given the way it sounds. I see the nuthatch, or saw it anyway, white-breasted. I've lost sight of it. let's continue, I guess. Hold on a second, I gotta look at something. Okay, that's nothing. Earlier this week, I did manage to post the video of the short ear. So if you're interested, take a look. It's on YouTube. I'll admit that I would like a better look at them than what we had, but I'll take what I can get. Pretty quiet in this area of the woods. It often is anyway, but I'm not hearing anything. the walking is kind of noisy just because this crunches underfoot. And where there is no snow, you know, the mulch is fairly solid, and it's easy to walk on that quietly, fairly quietly. But where the snow is, it's a different story. Snow, ice, whatever it is you want to call it. Maybe we'll call it former snow, because it's not really, well, I don't know. We could call it the substance formerly known as snow. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. Formerly known as snow. As I've said before, you know, I've made note today it's quiet here, and I've done that before, you know, in recent weeks. Boy, it's quiet or whatever. But every once in a while you have a good sighting. So, is it worth checking here? Sure. Is it worth spending an entire day here? Well, that depends on the person who's doing the bird watching. You know, if you're hoping to come through the day with just one great sighting and one, maybe a good set of pictures or something like that, sure, you might see something here. But you also could say, well, I'll look at Sapsucker today, look around, I'll give it a decent review, but you know, I'll go elsewhere if it doesn't look like there's much activity. And that's what I do pretty much. We could try to go to a number of places. As I've mentioned in the past, there was a time for me before the tour, you know, when I first started, that this was basically it for me. I would come here and I'd walk around for a while, taking photos of anything and everything that looked to be of interest or beautiful or whatever, and then I would head home and just process the photos, or at least look at them. I should say I would look at them, and you know, some I might post back then to Flickr, and then that would be it. I'd post them, label them, and everything, and that would be my day. But things have changed since then. Used to be I wouldn't even touch the colors of a photo. Wouldn't crop it, wouldn't adjust the colors, wouldn't do anything. I hear somebody. A red-bellied woodpecker. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't see it. People would tell me back then, "Oh, you could do this and this with your photos. They could be so amazing." Maybe I don't know, but I just never did that. And even today, granted, I don't take as many still photos as I did back then. But even today, my general tendency is to, if I do have photos that I like, and I knew at the time that I took them, oh, there's some nice photos in here, I might go through them and tweak a couple things. And I have right now, there's a set of photos I actually recorded back in August that I'd like to really go through and eventually share with you, but I just haven't really settled upon a best way of doing that. I guess what I need to do is actually go through all the photos one by one and see which ones I like, and then I'd make adjustments as necessary. Hello. I don't believe I've ever seen anyone sit on that bench before. That bench is relatively new, at least in terms of having a bench there. Quite honestly, and there's I don't think it's there anymore. There's another bench that's a little bit farther back, or it used to be there. And whether you're talking the bench we just passed or the one that, the former location, I never thought it would be a good place to sit down, given the mosquitoes. I guess on a day like today, without any mosquitoes, it might be okay. I think I just heard a crow, but I'm not sure. Not much going on here. Not much of a surprise either. Just picking up a bit. So anyway, like I said, you know, keep in mind what you're likely to see and maybe what you are really hoping to see when you come here in this time of year. There are birds to see here, but you really have to be in the right place at the right time, and you might have to be patient or whatever. During the warmer months, during, let's say, May and June, for instance, sure, maybe you're likely to see more. And, requiring less luck to do it, less patience to see those birds. But, in wintertime, there's certainly birds here. We've seen a number of species, seen or heard, including that turkey vulture, black-capped chickadee, red-breasted merganser, white-breasted merganser, tufted titmouse, American goldfinch. What else do we see? American tree sparrow, downy woodpecker, red-bellied woodpecker. Don't know if we saw a hairy woodpecker. A lot of small planes flying around today. Anyway, I'm not seeing much here. What was that? That's a raven. I think. Yeah, I'd say so. Love to see it. Let's wait, see if it calls again. Oh, I see it. I see something. Yep, I think so. Well, it's not. I think that was a raven, I'm not sure. I don't know if what we just saw, was a raven or not. I believe I heard a raven, and that's what made me start to walk over here. And then I saw it, didn't get it for you on camera, but I saw it flying a little bit lower to the ground, then it flew up that way and then out of our area. I'd love to have a good look at it. We've seen ravens over the years, two or three times, but it's been a while since we've had any kind of a decent look. Actually, I don't know if we've ever had a decent look other than at the ones that were at the cliff nest that one year. Every other time we've had a look at, distances or lighting or whatever had been a problem. I don't hear as well in the wintertime as I do in the warmer months because I'm wearing a hat that covers my ears. So that doesn't help. But anyway, that sounded like a common raven to me. This is kind of treacherous here. Not much going on. You can hear the water flowing out through the outflow, and I can even see water there. That's kind of a thin layer of ice there on top. But like it or not, the ice is generally thick enough to prevent, use of the water. Yep, that's common raven again. Love to see it. Love to have a good look. I might see it. Yeah, I think I see it. I hope it'll stay there. It's on the top one of the utility poles. Oh. Hope it calls. So that's a common raven, and seems to be flying out of the area. Okay, out of my sight for the moment. Make some adjustments here. Okay. We don't see common ravens often. And if you don't know, the reason why it's called a common raven has nothing to do with how many there are, but how many continents upon which it can be found naturally. It's indigenous to at least 2. So I made the comment we don't see them often, and we don't. But that has nothing to do with the fact named common raven. Of course, not every species that is found on more than one continent has the word common in its name, but glad we got to see it. Maybe not as well as I would have liked, but still glad we got to see it. And we got to see it call. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Let's get in the car. We'll head to the campus, take a look around. There's I don't know if I just saw pileated. Oh, I hear the raven again. Hold on one second. I don't see it. You know, one thing you wonder is why was it calling in the first place? Specifically, was it calling to another raven, or what? almost ready to get going. Bye, sapsucker. Thank you. Sort of, kind of look around just a bit. I suspect the raven's not in the immediate area. Maybe I could find it if I drove around a bit. We're going to continue on. Like I said, it was nice to see it. I wouldn't mind a better look, and not just a better look in terms of like, okay, how closely we saw it or what the lighting was like, but also even I wouldn't mind just, I don't know, watching some, behavior or something interesting. As it happens, I'm a subscriber to the Lab of Ornithology YouTube channel, and what is it? Primarily, you see things from their live cameras, and I was checking over just the various YouTube subscriptions I have, and I noticed, okay, the lab had a new posting. And sure enough, it was a common raven at the Ontario feeder camp. And it's short, but it's just nice to watch common ravens. And it did do a little bit of eating, not much. quite honestly, I don't know if there is just not much food there to its liking. Maybe the seeds were too small in general and everything, but so, they show it, it's there, and then, it leaves eventually. I found myself saying, bye. Good luck. Anyway, I mentioned earlier that I had driven through the campus on my way to the Sapsucker Woods. By the way, it's 42 degrees right now, according to my thermometer. So, relatively mild. We'll take it for a January day. While driving through the campus, I happened to see Arthur, and not necessarily where we would ordinarily see him. He was really, closer to North Campus. Maybe not far from where we saw him last week, but still, we usually don't see him where I saw him. Right in this area. I don't see him now. Hold on. I would suggest with this song that's about to play that if you do know the lyrics, you should sing along.
Laser beam in my dream, I can't get on, I can't get off. Laser beam like a sawed-off dream.
I like it. Uh-oh. A few drops hitting the windshield. See it, but that structure with the grid pattern, that's covered with, you know, frozen condensation. It's covered in ice essentially. that woman we just saw just now is running. Another person on the campus seems to be just walking around at a good pace. And I'm not saying either is wrong, but if you're wanting to get some exercise, I would suggest that, and you're not someone who has been exercising, let's say you just want to start, I would say walking is a lot better. For a number of reasons. First of all, it's less jarring, less stressful, and you can still get a good amount of exercise. If you can walk at a good pace, it's much more comfortable, it's easier on the joints. On Beebe Lake, I do see Canada geese. There are some areas of open water, but there's still a lot of ice on Beebe Lake ahead of us. What's that? Hold on one second. Oh, nothing. Never mind. I don't know what it is, but it's not. It was white, and I was wondering, well, could it be a swan or something, or a snow goose, but no, it's just junk or something. There are also some gulls on Beebe Lake. Actually, a fair number of Canada geese are down there. Oh! I just saw somebody. Hold on. Hold on. That might have been the queen. I believe it is. How lucky. Okay, hold on. I don't know if we can stay here just because of... you kind of shouldn't park right in front of a parking garage. But anyway. Hold on. Hey. Hello. It's the queen. Hold on, let me just adjust things here. Just bring it just a bit. So this is Big Red, and if you're new to the tour, Big Red is a female red-tailed hawk. We're living on the Cornell campus. Okay, we gotta go. You know what? Hold on. Hold on. We're going to see if we can get a look at her from a different location. Oh, I don't know. I'm not so sure we'll be able to see her from here. Oh, well, maybe. You can hear the geese. Oh, she took off. She just took off. And she's out of sight. I hope I didn't do that. I doubt it. Alright, she took off, and while we're here, let's see if we can get us a look at any of the Canada geese. Not really. I mean, kind of, but not well enough to warrant the time. Alright, let's bring it back in. Oh, you know what? Well, I don't know if I can do it. Nice look at Arthur. I just happened to spot him as I was going through the campus on my way to Sapsucker. Really in an unexpected area. I've seen him in this area before, but don't usually expect to see him here. Okay, so that was the sighting I had earlier of Arthur before I went to Sapsucker, and now we're just looking around a little bit longer for Big Red or Arthur. Now we saw Big Red just a few minutes ago. Wait a second, what's that? Oh, and that was lucky. I don't know. Somehow, just looking at down at the lake slowed me down enough to catch sight of her, and then she flew away. I'm not sure where she flew to, and I don't know where she is. But it's good to have seen both of them today. Very good to have seen both, because we love them. Sorry. Happens to be was not now. Just a moment ago, there was a Cornell security vehicle behind me, but it's not any. Oh no, there it is. I think they're coming in. I just saw a number of Canada geese. Guessing they're coming into the lake. We had not been seeing Canada geese on Beebe Lake for the last couple of weeks because it was essentially all, completely covered in ice. If you think about it, we see all the time, just behavioral changes due to just a change from one week to the next, with weather / conditions. Field could have no activity at all, and then the following week maybe all of a sudden it doesn't have a lot of snow and ice on it, and it's got food available, and all of a sudden you've got many birds there. I thought there was a chance of rain, but I don't know. Maybe I didn't check closely enough. I think it was maybe a 50% chance of rain. But, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. That's just the likelihood of rain. It doesn't tell you how much rain. We'll look around just a little bit longer. I'm just glad we've seen them both. And in each case, I was, kind of surprised by the sighting. I didn't. When with the Arthur recording I just shared with you, I didn't record like the entire area. It was really just him. But as we drove into the campus, I indicated where I had seen him. And, but like I was, I didn't really expect to see him there, and I was about to be off of the campus and within a few moments, and I just happened to see him on top of that pole, and then just now with Big Red, I don't know how I saw her, quite honestly. I'm not complaining. Please understand, not complaining. Very glad to have seen her. Yeah. Oh, what's that? Is that something? I have to admit. No, it's probably not. Let me look with binoculars. No, it's something. I have to admit, when I am looking around, I'm looking primarily at building tops, roofs, and maybe a few other structures where either we've seen them before or it looks like that would be a good spot. Those are the areas I look at primarily. And then, sometimes have to be lucky to see them in a tree or something like that. And we just saw her, in a tree. Oh, let's go this way. If you think about it, she wasn't in a tree, she was on a tree. I mean, if she had been in the tree, maybe if there had been a hole and she was, in the hole like an owl might be who's nesting, but she was on the tree. If you think about it, But anyway, we saw her in a tree, and we're going to continue looking just a little bit longer, and then we'll take a break. Hey, what happened? What happened to the music? Oh, that's weird. That was weird. So we saw her in this area here, and then she took off before we could get a look from a different location, and I don't know where she went. must be a sporting event going on or something. A lot of cars here. I have not seen a lot of traffic on the campus as a whole, but in this area here, yeah, it looks like it. I see someone in the, monitoring the parking lot. No, we don't want to hear this. What happened? Something weird happened when I was hearing it. This way, I guess. I wonder what percentage of buildings on this campus are either not under construction themselves or situated with some kind of construction or something immediately around them. I bet the percentage is fairly low. just going to look for a few more minutes and then it'll be break time. So going there, maybe. As we drive around, I mean, it's easy to forget where things are relative to each other. And like, you know, where we are right now is not far from where we saw Big Red. I mean, it was right just down the hill here. But, you know, obviously, you know, we're not able to, you know, take a straight line path from this location to that location where we saw her. So my point is, sometimes it can seem like, oh, you know, Ferris must have driven quite a ways away from, you know, this bird or that bird or whatever, and it's not necessarily, you know, the case. These just flew through our view, and 4 more, maybe leaving Peak Lake, and yeah, a number of them are leaving Peak Lake. Makes sense actually, because there's not much food there on the lake. Oh, maybe they're coming around. I don't know. Back to the pond, or to the lake. Yeah, there are quite a few geese down there, but they're just standing on the ice. There's no, you know, there's no food, there's no feeding. So I was driving through this area here when I saw Arthur earlier today, before Sapsucker. And he was on one of these lighting poles right to our right. And I'm just back in this area now, just looking around in case he's still around here. All right, well, I think it's time we took a break, everybody. And I think we're looking at maybe around, maybe around 3:45, somewhere around there. Maybe a little earlier. Oh my goodness, I see him. Hold on. I don't believe it. He's straight ahead. Hold on. What is he doing there? Got some trees in the way. Oh, it might clear up. This won't be perfect. What are you doing there? So he's not far from where I first saw him earlier today. I think he looks like he's maybe thinking about taking off. Maybe. I'm trying to see if there's a better spot. There might be. There might be. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Hold on. Good idea. Don't know if this will help or not. if I see him at all. Quite honestly, I'm not sure where he is relative to. Oops. From up here, I don't see him. I thought we might be able to see him. Is that him? No, I don't see him. Well, I could park on the road and try to look back at that spot. But I think what we're going to do is we are going to take a break. And that delayed me a little bit, but I think we're looking at roughly the same... Oh, I see him. Time frame. But we're going to take a break now. And I'll see you all. Hello everybody, welcome to Montezuma. It is 38 degrees and raining, lightly, and very cloudy. And we're looking around for anything and everything and everything and anything that we can find. Didn't see all that much activity on Cayuga Lake except, a short ways from here at the northern end. But I did see in that area, believe it or not, 2 great blue herons. They were in the lake itself. Also saw Canada geese and maybe some ducks that were well out of my range in terms of identification. Some crows are up above us. Number of crows. So we're going to have a look around. Now, the rain is not going to be helping things, that's for sure. Last week when we were in the area, we really saw very little around here. Now things are different this week. Obviously it's a different week, but also the conditions are different, so who knows? Who knows? By the way, that last song was "Summer Breeze" by Bob Baldwin. Really like it. Really, really like it. Oh my goodness. Oops. Maze Point, does it have, am I seeing activity there? Maybe. I can't see it now. May have been some Canada geese there, but I can't. I went too far to see. Oh, maybe. Hold on. Got vegetation in the way is my problem right now. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. Thought I saw something. It could have been just vegetation itself rather than birds on the water. It's very possible too. Okay. Well, looks like much of Maze Point is still covered with ice, despite the relatively mild weather that we've had. Here. Pigeons to our right in a tree, and to our left I see nothing. No. But the pigeons are up here, if you're wondering. This part is open. There's essentially no ice on the water, but I see no activity. Let's keep going, I guess. This is more frozen, but still no activity. I don't pretend to know my way around this area like many other people know, but over the years we've found good places to go, and that may have been an eagle I just saw. I'm not sure. And it's if I come to a spot and I don't see anything, it's not like it's a disaster, we'll just leave, because there are a number of places that we can visit that may or may not have bird activity that's worth looking at. Is there something in this hole here? No, maybe not. We'll take a left turn up here at the intersection. We haven't seen anything. We haven't seen much down this way in a bit, but it's worth a check, I think, for a couple of reasons. It could be that things have kind of opened up again in terms of what's covered by snow and what isn't. And there might be birds here, going through the fields, who knows. It's too bad it's raining, it doesn't help. Ahead, I'm not seeing any birds necessarily, but I'm seeing what looks like a lot of either melted or semi-melted snow. Let me just take a look with binoculars now. It's still, no, I think it's just, what is that? What is that? There's one single white thing out there, and I'm wondering what it is. It's not a swan, or at least not a... We may have something interesting to see, I'm not sure. It's a very slight chance. Let me look with the other camera for a moment. I'm doubtful. It could be just some debris. It's probably the most likely thing. Well, I hear some swans, I think. Yeah, I hear some tundra swans. Don't see them. And as for that white thing, whatever it is, I think it is just debris. Whatever it is, it doesn't seem to be moving. So we're going to move ourselves, though. We're going to continue driving down this way, but I'm hoping it's just debris, whatever that is. Otherwise, it's a bird that has maybe perished. But I think it's probably just some debris of some sort. Oh, I see the swans up above. There are four swans, and I'm assuming they're the ones I heard. They're tundras. Not much going on down here. I'm not seeing, anything in these fields. There's still, the snow is still there. It looks like it's almost, it's semi-melted. It's being rained upon and everything, but it's still there. And I don't know how much food is left there anyway, but. I'd like to have another look at whatever that white thing was from a different angle, if possible. I've got to find it again. Let me just stop here for a second. I don't know where it was. I don't see it. I think I might see it, but it's actually hard to see. Okay, I do think it's nothing. All right, never mind. That's good. I mentioned a short while ago that I saw 2 great blue herons on Cayuga Lake, and sometimes you might think, oh, I wish I could see such and such, whatever the species is. And sure, I like to see great blue herons, but I am concerned. Why are they here? Why are they in the area in January? but they weren't far from each other, and you know, I imagine that, you know, they just haven't decided to go all that far south, and maybe they've been in the area all along, and I just, you know, never saw them. And to see a great blue heron in December or January, it's not, you know, I don't usually see them, but every once in a while, I mean, over the last few years, you know, see one or two here or there, and, you know, you make note of it and everything. But, you know, I suspect great blue herons don't fly that far south unless they need to. I know I've mentioned it before, but, you know, and I'm not an ornithologist. I'm not an expert in any way, shape, or form. But, you know, maybe, you know, growing up as a child, you'd hear about, like, bird migration, and you just assume that or at least my thinking was, oh, you know, the birds fly from the north and they go all the way to Florida to keep warm. And, you know, that's not necessarily the case. That I've come to appreciate the fact that, you know, many birds, they migrate only as far as they have to in order to find food. Now, over to our right, I see some white on the ground. I suspect they're decoys. I'm going to look. But it's my strong suspicion that they are, in fact, decoys. They're not moving. Now, decoy snow geese, decoy Canada geese, and I thought I might have seen something else, but we don't care. Now I am worried. A car just passed in the opposite direction. I don't know if there's a bird watcher in that car, but I worry that bird, if it was a bird watcher, they might think, oh, the decoys fooled that guy. No, they didn't fool me. Not fooled. I suspect that they were decoys right off the bat. I did not see any snow geese on Cayuga Lake. Now, I have to admit, visibility to the, you know, all the way across the lake was not necessarily all that good. But I didn't see anything that looked like a flock of snow geese. The rain is problematic in many ways. You know, if we do want to look out the window, it could be an issue. Getting, you know, water on the camera or lens, whatever. Okay, that's one thing. The other issue is, even if there's no chance of getting water on the you know, any of the camera equipment, there's always the chance, or there's a good likelihood, just, that rain in the air affects visibility and helps to prevent, good sharp images. Seneca River is, far less covered with ice, just, patches of ice here and there, but I'm not seeing any bird activity. I did see a couple gulls just now. I think we'll just turn right around. Again, nothing going on around here that I can see. I have a strong feeling we're not going to be in the, the immediate Montezuma area for very long, just like last week. Basically, just went through very quickly and left. Degrees. I'll say this: these milder temperatures can make any walks that we take a little easier for me in a number of ways, and in particular keeping my hands warm. If I'm using a camera, I'd just as soon not be wearing gloves, just because gloves get in the way. I do have gloves that are meant for, meant to keep your fingers free enough to use, fine buttons and things like that. The problem is they're not all that. Those gloves are not all that warm. And some gloves have, and I have gloves that allow you to move away from the fingertips, either just the index finger and thumb, or even all the fingers. And that I'm not saying they're bad, but they're not really a great solution generally. .38 degrees now. Welcome to East Road. I think I see some Canada geese in the air. Let's take a look. Yes, Canada geese. And gull behind them. wonder if they're coming into the marsh. Might be. Slippery. The geese are still in view. Oh, I'm sorry. What were those? Moose? Oh, a whole bunch of mourning doves, I think, or pigeons. You know, I may be hearing maybe there's a lot of activity down there. Who knows? I thought I heard something. I don't see a lot of activity. Not yet, anyway. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, there may be. Oh, wow. What do I see down there? What do I see down there? Hold on. Well, we found Swan Central. Did not expect this. Okay, hold on a second. Well, first of all, let's give you a quick look with this camera here. Come on, wire. Seriously. Seriously. I think that's an eagle back there on the ground. Okay, hold on a second. I want to pull off the lens a bit. And there's still some. Hold on. Okay, that's better, I guess. The rain has picked up a bit, so let's give it a try. We may have tundras and... Do we possibly have tundras and trumpeters? I mean, those kind of look like trumpeters there just by their size. They look a little... maybe I'm wrong. They somehow look bigger. Could be wrong, though. I see some ducks. Looks like a mallard, and I'm not sure if that's a female mallard or an American black duck. It might be. I think it might be a female mallard. That looks like at center looks like a. Yeah, we have some American black ducks there too. Oh, there's an American widgeon there. Another mallard. So again, I'm not sure, but I mean, they may all be tundra swans. Some for a moment looked larger, but that could be just an illusion. And there's a good chance of that, actually. I think I might be hearing Canada geese again. Is that another widgeon? Yeah, I think we have maybe... Yeah, that's a widgeon there, and there was I just saw another widgeon, American widgeon somewhere. We won't stay here too much longer just because it's raining and everything, but good to see them. Oh, ringneck ducks there. The big concentration is over here. Canada geese, and actually and yeah, there. I was just going to say, we had seen what I thought was an eagle. Oh, wait a minute. That's not an eagle, is it? No, it's a Canada goose. Hope it's okay. All by itself, I wonder. It's not an eagle. I thought it was at first, but now looking at it more closely, I just worry about it. Okay, we're going to move on, I think. Oh, the rain is easing up just a bit. Who's down here? Mallards? I think so. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to move on. Gotta check on something. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna stop periodically, I think, to just take a look with binoculars down there. There might be a lot of duck activity down there, I'm not sure. How'd that get like that? Look like they're mostly mallards and American black ducks. I'm not really seeing anything else. Possible that at center is someone else, but I'm not sure. Back to the swans for a moment. Hold on a second. Okay, I think we'll move on. Is that a vehicle down there? What's it doing down there? You see these mild temperatures, and it's tempting to think, "Oh, winter's over." Well, I mean, look, we haven't even reached mid-December yet, or mid-January yet, so we've got a long ways to go. But these little breaks, these little warmer spells, can make a big difference in a number of ways. Even if you're like me and you have snow to shovel whenever it snows, and you've got to put that snow somewhere. I mean, it makes a difference when you have some time for it to melt down a bit, just to have enough space for more. And quite honestly, I'm always bothered by any kind of a significant snowfall. Not for my sake, but I'm really like, oh, please stop snowing. The birds need food, or whatever. The animals need to find food, and it's just nice when they can find it. Well, I think I do see maybe some geese on Mace Point. I'm not sure. The other night, there was more snow on the ground still, and it was a little easier to, in many ways, just turn green, or turn yellow. Anyway, there was, the ground was essentially covered with snow, so as a result, you look out, even though it's dark outside, you can tell when something's there. You can at least see its silhouette. And I look out, and it just at nearby, there was one deer already seated on the ground, and a few feet away another one was just sitting down next to it. And it just again, it was like I can't remember what time it was, but it was later on at night, later in the evening. And, I just saw that, and I thought, well, I don't know. They're in my yard, and they're, this is where they're comfortable right now. And I did take my binoculars out to try to look at them a little bit more closely, and the binoculars did help. And you could just see that they were both just chewing. I guess it's chewing cud or whatever, where they return material from one part of their digestive system up to the mouth for further chewing or something like that, and they were doing that. But it was just nice to see, but my thoughts also touched on there was still a fair amount of snow on the ground, and finding food isn't necessarily the easiest thing to do. And as I often say, for the animals, they're always on duty. They're always trying to find food. They're always trying to be alert for predators or dangers of one sort or another. They don't get weekends off or holidays off. It's getting late. I think we're going we'll go to the airport and take a look around. Didn't have any luck there last week. We might have seen a northern harrier briefly, and that's it. But the week before, we saw the short-eared owls, at least two, and a northern harrier or two. It was nice to see the swans back there. I mean, we've had, I would say, better looks at them on Cayuga Lake, this season. But, not only did we get to see them a little better, but we could hear them a little better. But it's still nice to see them like we did just now. In some ways, it's been for me, a day of surprises. When it comes to our hawks on the campus, I had 3 sightings, and including the one I had recorded prior to today's tour and shared with you. But I mean, each one I was just not expecting to see, our hawk. I'm not complaining, but each one was was a surprise. Sapsucker was, fairly quiet, but at least, granted, it wasn't a great look, but we got to see that common raven. That was nice to see. A little bit different for us. It was nice to see it and hear it, and to see it while we were hearing it. have been times in the past when we've heard what I thought was a raven, and we would just never find it. So to see one today was nice. That's 2 hour left. I don't know if it's, I don't believe it's part of Cayuga Lake officially. I don't see anything with the naked eye, but I have to admit visibility is not great. And I think it might be frozen over still. And maybe that's why we saw those swans at in the Knox Marcellus Marsh. If you think about it, it's all amazing because okay, so they're not in the lake, or they're not in that area that I was just referencing, and somehow, some way, they had to find out that there's water available to swim in at Knox Marcellus, and last week when we were there, it was all frozen over. There was nothing to swim in. So, I mean, something had to make the effort to find that out. And maybe, come back, and who knows? I mean, maybe they're just flying around, and maybe that's all they do, and and eventually they settle on a spot that looks like it might be worthwhile. The point is, it's not as if like someone was driving in a vehicle, happened to see water there, and called their cell phones and said, "Oh, you should come over here to Knox Marcellus. There's water here today." They've got to do it all themselves. I mean, there are no shortcuts or anything. The days are still short, but it's getting dark in a hurry. Now, we don't have to go to the airport. We could just go to the Lakeside Entertainment Casino here to our right. But I don't think so. It used to be a gas station. I expect it would be a lot brighter right now if we had clear skies. assuming there are short-eared owls in the area, or harriers. I mean, they might be that much less likely to be in the air just because of the rain. Who knows? I see something in the air. Hold on one second. It's a goose. Canada goose. Came in for a landing. And there's a vehicle in this area in the semicircular driveway that we're turning into now. And I wonder why. Oh, is there an owl there? I think there's a snowy owl. We have a snowy owl today. I'm not sure. Good likelihood. We'll check in a moment. Hi. It's our first snowy owl this season. Hello. Hold on, let me get things steady here. Where'd it go? So this is a snowy owl, if you didn't know. I'm going to lighten it. Well, not just yet. All right, while you're looking at the owl, I'm going to be looking around. I see no lights on in the terminal, so it looks like things are closed up already, so we can't go in, is my guess. Sounds like the rain is picking up a bit, although I'm not feeling it, so maybe we're parked in a lucky fashion. What am I hearing? I do hear a Canada goose. We're not going to stay here too long, I think. You know, I love to see snowy owls, but it's not like we're getting the greatest of looks. And it's not as if this owl is really doing anything other than looking around. Sound like Canada geese to me. Let's brighten it up and see if it can improve. I don't think it will. It'll get noisy. Yeah, it's just getting noisy. Hello. All right, it's time for me to change batteries in the other camera. 1 second. All right, and we're gonna head out, I think, of this area. Good to see a snowy owl, but I'm not seeing any. I'm not seeing short-eared right now. One of the reasons why I was hoping to, or one of the things I was hoping to see here, a short-eared owl. Oh, hold on a second. Hello, you seeing the snowy owl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you see?
Hoping for a short ear, but
I saw a couple weeks ago, but nothing yet today.
here at the airport.
Yeah.
Which section down there?
I was here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and in fact, I saw one on a pole over there, and it was doing a lot of flying around, and I also saw a second one, but that was 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah.
So, good luck.
Yeah. Thanks. You too.
No
Good
problem.
night.
Take care. So I don't know if you heard, but he's hoping to see a short-eared owl, and so am I. Now it's getting, you know, is it too late in the day to see them? I think we were here about this time. But I worry that the rain is going to affect timing and everything, and you know, I just don't know. So we'll you know, we could try the other side of the airport. Let's do that. Let's do that. You know, is that going to be that much more likely, or any more likely, to have a, you know, a short-eared owl? Well, I don't know. Doubt it, but it's possible. For all we know, we've driven by one twice now, you know, in each direction, and it's just been in one of the trees or something. Like I said, the rain could affect its, you know, just its actions this evening, assuming there's one in the area anyway. There's no guarantee of that. original plan was to come here, take a look around, come to the airport, take a look around, and if we didn't see anything, I would, proceed south and, maybe make some stops along the lake. But there really wasn't that much activity that I saw. Now, I have to admit, I didn't really, it's not like I had a good look at everything at the northern end because, who knows, there could be activity there since some things have opened up. But, I don't know. It's hard for me to see right now. It's getting dark, plain and simple. We'll go in here. We've done this many times before, looking for snowy owls. Now, when we were back in the semicircle, I have to admit, I didn't look on the other side of the road very well, and maybe I should have. Who knows? Maybe there would have been one on the ground, and I just didn't look enough, to see it. On the side of the road we were on, the vegetation was too tall, so I didn't really have to bother looking. I wouldn't be able to see one regardless. Okay, nothing here. Some smaller birds just flew through. Let's keep going. that song is called Lover's Carvings, and it's by, I guess it's Vibio. And it's in my library, and it has been for a number of years. And believe it or not, I first I heard a little bit of it, and this is what had me discover it, in a commercial for Amazon. And so I had it in my library, and it was often one of the songs I would either hear or it would be in my head as I was first making regular trips to the Montezuma area. And I just remember it, that always brings back those memories of driving, to and from the Montezuma area. A little bit of trivia you didn't necessarily need. Anyway. Really just hoping for a lucky sighting right now. Obviously it's getting very dark. I can't really look at the ground right now. It's just, not for a short-eared owl, for instance. Maybe something white on the ground might catch my attention, but it's too dark to really see the ground. However, if there happens to be, an owl or something perched atop a pole, there's a decent chance I would see it. So we're making our way through. We're almost done for the day. But so basically I am just hoping for a lucky sighting. Or it doesn't have to be perched on a pole. The sky itself is still light enough that if that serves as the backdrop to a bird, I'll see the silhouette. Now, over to our right, for instance, where there are trees, there's a stand of trees. Anything low, I probably would not be able to see, or I might not be able to see. But straight ahead of us, for instance, if a bird were to fly through my view, there's a decent chance I would see it. We're obviously no longer next to the airport. We've moved on a ways now. But much of this area that we're driving through now, would be, I think, fairly conducive to, to short-eared owls and northern harriers. Here's one you haven't heard in a while. stay. And believe me, I'd love to look around further, but I just, it's like I said, it's getting dark, and I don't want to waste your time. I do hope you've enjoyed the day. We've seen some interesting things here and there, and but of course, as usual, I wish we had seen more. Steely Dan. You want to hear some Steely Dan? No, that wasn't Steely Dan, by the way. That was, hold on, Jay Ferguson. Well, okay, so anyway, I think we're closing up shop. I want to wish you all a very good evening and a great week. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.